All right, I believe we have our caller on the line. Emerson, are you there?
Third time is the charm. I'm here. I'm good, and yourself?
I am doing pretty good.
That's good. I tried calling in twice, and the phone kept ringing and ringing, and you never picked up.
Well, you're busting our balls here, Emerson, but I'm going to take producer Kev to task for that one, because I kept saying we have a special caller calling in as a surprise after Len Denton, so I thought he was watching the switchboard. It's not my responsibility. I'm not producing tonight.
Sorry, I turned my back for a minute because you guys were so engrossed in the CM Punk conversation, and I totally missed Emerson, and I apologize.
It's all good.
I was all sad over here. I would like to say one thing. You know, when you are the greatest writer in the world, they don't call you a great writer. They call you Emerson Witner. Beat me if you can.
Now you're ripping off the promo, too. I told him this was going to happen. Everybody's going to go all around the world and back again.
Well, I thought it was Superstar Billy Graham that Chael, I guess Chael may have stolen from him, but Superstar stole it from Len Denton, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's one of those phrases that's just impossible not to imitate because it's so darn good. But he says he got it from Ox Baker, and I believe Len Denton when he said he made it famous because he was using it long before a lot of these other people were.
Mm-hmm. Before Chael was a twinkle in his daddy's eye.
We do want to talk about the big NXT Revolution that's coming up next Thursday. So you have not been able to watch the live NXT tonight because you joined us for the podcast, but I'm sure even with tonight's NXT show, whatever the card is for the 12th is already set.
Oh yeah, I think there was like 4 matches officially announced, and then one was pretty obvious based on television. And you know, you're actually wrong. It's not a TakeOver Revolution. It's even dumber than that. It's TakeOver R Evolution.
Well, can I just call it Revolution? Because I can't. R Evolution does not work for me.
Yeah, it sounds like Revolution sounds easier.
It is perhaps the dumbest name for a show in WWE history.
Really? It's not dumber than December to Dismember.
I like that.
That wasn't bad. That was kind of creative. I love that stage setup. Remember that? That was 2006, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a horrible show, but I thought it was an awesome name.
That's one of the posters I lost due to water damage, sadly.
Was that the night when Big Show won the title?
No, Bobby Lashley won it in the
Bobby Lashley won. Yeah, I remember that. That's when I first started getting into it. And Lashley's reign as ECW champion, if you guys go way back, that was really entertaining back in the day.
It was entertaining in the sense that he was actually pushed as a main guy, and it's something that they obviously never did with pretty much any other ECW champion after. But I remember everyone just being really angry that Lashley won the belt instead of either Van Dam or Punk.
Mm. Well, that
really
whole
cool.
show seemed designed. That whole show seemed designed to make ECW fans angry. That was not. Go ahead.
I can honestly say I was one of the 90,000 people who paid the full $39.95 to watch that show on pay-per-view.
You were one of 90, but I was not. I went to a sports bar to watch it. That's why I had a poster, because nobody wanted the poster that was hanging on the door for that event. I was the only person who said, "Can I have that?" They gave it to me.
Yeah. I hate because every place where I live, they never have the sports bar nearby. There's the WWE pay-per-views. Like, trust me, I would have saved so much money in my life if I could have just gone to a sports bar.
Well, how happy do you think I was with WWE Network launch? Because now I don't even have to pay cover at the bar anymore to watch these. And I don't have to pay to watch NXT either. I'd pay to watch that if I had to, but I get it with my network subscription. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's like a bonus. And I get to see things like the Lucha Dragons versus the Vaudevillains next week.
That's going to be a very fun match. I don't think it's going to be a very good match, but it's going to be a very fun match. And
yeah. Well, anything that the Vaudevillains are involved in is the definition of a fun match. I think that kind of goes without saying.
True. And I love Simon Gotch's facial expressions. Like, you know, he just, like, has that look like when he's, like, really doing the whole muscular pose with the double bicep. He just gets that look on his face, and he curls his mustache, and
he really looks like a silent movie film star.
Yes. He plays the gimmick very well. And I'm just happy Aiden English doesn't sing anymore.
Oh, I kind of miss the singing. I might be the only one, but I loved how he did those old-time show tune, like the Rodgers and Hammerstein type singing. I really got a kick out of it when he would sing his way to the ring.
It was different, I'll tell you that. But hey, so's Adam Rose different, but you see how well that's going for him.
Yeah, not so well of late. So I suppose the Lucha Dragons are going to retain, but let's get your prediction on that.
Oh yeah, that's they're retaining the belts. I don't think there's any doubt in that. They're probably gonna. Actually, they're not gonna open the show. I think the other tag match is gonna open the show,
Which would be Hideo Itami and Finn Balor versus the Ascension.
Yes, I'm back and forth on whether or not I hate the name Finn Balor or not. I don't know why. It's like sometimes I like it and sometimes it's just really annoying. And yeah.
Well, this is my point to give a shout out to my buddy Mike, who I see at the gym every Tuesday and Thursday, because he says the only thing he enjoys watching in pro wrestling right now is NXT. So first time he told me that, I gave him a high five. And the second time he told me that, I was like, so what do you think of Finn Balor? He's like, I love the guy, but that's a stupid name.
I thought you were going to say you showed him njpwworld.com. Like,
well, that's what I told him. I was like, you know what? If he could go back to the name he used in New Japan, Fergal Devitt, he would probably be even more over right now. And then he said, well, WWE wants to own everything. That's why they gave him a new name. I'm like, this guy gets it. But 9 times out of 10, you have a conversation about pro wrestling at the gym with somebody, they're not going to get it. But this guy, like, oh my God, he understands. WWE wants to own everything.
Mm-hmm. I figured that most conversations about wrestling at the gym are, oh, I used to watch when Steve Austin did it. Is he still there?
Well, actually, Austin did come up this week because Mike didn't even watch Raw. All he watched was the podcast after Raw.
I made it an hour into Raw. I DVR'd it and watched it later, and I watched the opening segment. I watched some of Tag Team Turmoil, and I pretty much had it on fast forward for most of the show. I didn't even stop for Rusev like I used to. And actually, I did stop for Rusev because that's when I was really starting to go fast forwarding because I was just like, he has to beat up Zeb Coulter because he needs to feud with the guy that never beats anybody. So he's going to beat up Jack Swagger's 60-year-old manager to anger the guy who never wins.
Well, no, Jack Swagger actually has been winning the matches on Main Event and Superstars and like the dark matches when he gets one with Cesaro before a pay-per-view. Yes. It's just they're never going to give him the big win over Rusev, and we all know why, because they're building up Rusev for somebody like Roman Reigns to take out.
Well, I figure they're building him up for Cena at Mania.
One or the other. Somebody that needs the big rub as babyface will be the one to beat him.
Yes, and if there's anybody in the company that needs a big rub, it's Cena.
Yeah, I know. He does. But speaking of needing the rub, you would assume Tommy and Balor were getting the win over Ascension because they don't need the rub. In fact, they've been supposed to debut on the main roster for a while now.
Well, Ascension was supposed to... Were you saying Ascension supposed to debut or Hideo and Finn Balor supposed to?
No, I'm saying that Ascension doesn't need the rub because they're already scheduled to go up to the top.
Oh, yeah. But, you've been hearing that since the last TakeOver show. The same thing with Charlotte, that they were the next 3 people being called up. And who knows, they may be on Raw on Monday, or next Monday, whichever. But, I sort of believe it when I see it anymore with WWE and people being called up from NXT. Because, like Kevin Owens was allegedly supposed to not spend much time in NXT, and I guess we'll see. But, they're giving him a pretty big push to a debut for someone who may not be there long.
Right, yeah, we've been seeing the video packages, and he's supposed to debut, although we don't know against who. That is yet to be determined. So, real quick, before we go on to the rest of the card, I want to ask Jordan, I assume, being he is a good Canadian, he probably saw Kevin Steen on the independent scene even before he made his name in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and Ring of Honor.
Oh, most definitely I have. And Kevin Steen, he worked his way up through Quebec because that's where he's from. And he from there, he got with Ring of Honor. And just seeing this man wrestle, and for a guy this size, and you look at it this way, Kevin Steen deserves to be in the WWE. And it's finally good to see him, after all that hard work, to see him make it to the big time.
Few people I can think of over the indies, with maybe the exception of Daniel Bryan and Punk himself, have ever worked harder, busted more ass getting to WWE than Kevin Steen. That guy has put his body on the line so many times.
Oh, most definitely. He has definitely proven that he wanted to be make it to the WWE, and he has. And that's one of the biggest goals in professional wrestling, is to make it to WWE. And by far, Kevin Steen accomplished that goal. And now we can only hope he gets a call up to the main roster, because he's getting put over big time by all the fans here. The fans are starting to like him, so we're going to see what happens with him.
I can't wait. I just hope they give him a good match for his NXT debut on Thursday night next week for our Evolution. Who would you like to see him wrestle, Emerson?
Let's see. I guess it depends if he's going to be a heel or a babyface. I figure he's going to be a heel. But the first thing that popped in my head was C.J. Parker, but Parker's a heel too. I don't know. I mean, there's 5,000 token people in the back that they could throw out there. Maybe Jason Jordan or Ty Dillinger could be thrown out there. I just need to stop calling him Keith Owens. For some reason, I don't even know if there is somebody named Keith Owens, but I keep calling him Keith Owens.
Nope, Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
It's interesting too that they seem to like the K and the O, because when Chris Hero was there, they called him Cassius Ono. They have this obsession with giving people a KO name.
And we saw how well that worked out.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully it works out better for Steen. But go
I
ahead.
have to laugh because allegedly they fired Ono because of his physique, but Kevin Steen is not exactly, the best cosmetically looking wrestler in the world.
No, but the one thing that he's always had going for him, and I can say this having stood shoulder to shoulder with him at a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla show in California, is he may not be cut up physically like a bodybuilder like Cesaro looks, but when you're standing next to him, he's thick and impressive. He has the physique of a guy who you wouldn't want to mess with.
Mm-hmm. And Steen, I met him in New Jersey last year at WrestleMania 29. Really nice guy, really. It was.
Very humble guy too. He almost blushes when you tell him how much you like his work. It's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, it was almost like he was embarrassed that I was telling him that I liked his work, and I sort of had to stop myself from doing it after a while because I didn't want to make him feel bad.
Yeah, he just kind of smiles and goes, "Oh shucks, thank you. I appreciate hearing that." He's that's the kind of thing I love about guys like him, is that he hasn't forgotten how much people appreciate him. Even though he could let it go to his head and be egotistical, he's a very humble, down to earth guy.
Mm-hmm. Good luck with him. By the way, the one match I just remembered that's probably going to be on the show, Bull Dempsey versus what's his name? Why do I not know the guy's name? Wasn't he on the
That's
show?
the hell of a gimmick for NXT. Bull Dempsey versus what's his name?
Yes. Great.
That'd be a good gimmick. That would be kind of cool. Just bring in a guy and call him some jobber and just bill him as what's his name. That'd be pretty solid.
Well, they did have that girl named Blue Pants twice, so.
Oh, better be careful now. That's Edward Laredo's personal friend, Leva Bates.
I'm sorry, Ed. I seriously had no idea who she was, and I'm sure Ed's not going to call in and yell at me, but...
Well, it's funny, though, because she got over because of those blue pants. People started chanting that at her. Blue pants, blue pants. And
I did love that, what's his name, Enzo Amore comes out, and of course everyone is chanting along his promo for him. Colin starts talking, and the fans start dying off, and they introduce Carmella, and the place died. And it's like everyone just left the arena when Carmella came out.
I guess she's not the realest girl in the room.
Nope, not at all. And even Colin, like that 6 months when Enzo had a broken leg and Colin was by himself, he was so boring, and you could tell that just standing next to Enzo makes him a bigger star.
Yeah, Enzo is one of those guys that a lot of people are going to get the rub off of, which may be unfortunate because he may wind up being one of those guys who makes everybody else look good and then gets overlooked.
Yep, he's probably never going to get a shot. Like, if he gets on the main roster, he's going to be Santino's little buddy.
Or he'll be like Tyson Kidd. They'll be heckling him because of the girl with him.
Poor Tyson. Still the most underrated wrestler in the world.
Absolutely. He is a brilliant wrestler, but all he is right now is Natty's husband.
Yep. Which was an awesome chant the first 8 or 9 times I heard it. Or Tyson's chicken was a good one, too.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. One thing I really did want to say about the Pug Podcast. Then we're going back to NXT, our evolution. But I did love that he made the point that fans pay for a ticket. They can chant anything they want. But do us all a favor and stop chanting it at his poor wife. She doesn't need to hear CM Punk chants every time she wrestles. I don't blame him for that. I'd be tired of that, too.
And, Dave Meltzer said it best. Why don't we go to Punk's house and chant WWE at him? Because,
Right, exactly. It may make much sense as what people are doing right now.
By the way, Baron Corbin was the name of the person I couldn't think of.
What's his name? Good old Baron Corbin. Total random segue. Sorry, I gotta go there, but there was a video game company in the 1980s called US Games, and they released a game called Name This Game. And what's his name made me think of Name This Game, because they actually printed boxes and sold it in stores and put a contest out there, name this game and win $25,000. You want to know what happened, Emerson? Guess what happened?
Won.
Nobody won. They went out of business.
Wow. It was an idea. It failed.
It failed big time. They folded up tent and went away, so nobody ever got the prize. But I do have a copy of that box sitting on my shelf. I have Name This Game on my shelf.
Wow. Hopefully that's going to be like Stadium Games in a few years, and you can sell it for $10,000 on eBay or something.
I'll never sell my copy of Stadium Events. Never, ever, ever.
Oh, by the way, another wacky segue, because I'm thinking about eBay, even though I use StubHub. I'm going to WrestleMania.
Ah, so you got your tickets? You got a travel package? You're set to go?
Don't have the flight yet, but I do have the ticket. And
awesome.
I had to go to StubHub because everything on Ticketmaster was behind the stage, and since I have no idea how big the stage is going to be, I didn't feel like staring at the giant logo all night. So went to StubHub, paid $25 more than the seat would have cost on Ticketmaster, and it's all good.
Now, when you say you paid $25 more, did you get like the upper bowl seating, or did you get like floor seat? Where did you go?
I got section 100. I'm literally right across from the stage.
Okay, well that probably cost you a pretty penny then.
$225.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, Ticketmaster would have been $200.
Right. Well, I guess $225 is not that bad. Then it's a small markup, but it's still a big chunk of change.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, the first year I went in Atlanta was like $125, $130, and I was in a similar seat. So, and by the way, I would like to say that at WrestleMania 27, Heath Slater did not hit on me and try to drag me to his room.
I saw Heath Slater that weekend too. I didn't see him trying to drag anybody in an elevator, but that's what the lady says happened, so we'll let it play out in court.
I just love that it took almost 5 years for it to come out.
I know. That's what I thought was amazing about this story, too. Like, they're issuing an arrest warrant for a WrestleMania I went to back in the 2000s.
Oh, boy. And Raw is, I guess, it's either already sold out or it's pretty much sold out the night after Mania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would expect it to be, because it's now part of the whole story that everything happens in that whole weekend is part of the show. Everything that goes on, the Hall of Fame, WrestleMania, Raw the next night, it's all one package.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, that was, I mean, I went last year to the Raw after Mania. It was off the charts crazy. It was almost disappointing because I expected it to be crazier, but at the same time, you couldn't go wrong. It was just an awesome crowd even before the show even started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. When you go to those WrestleMania weekend shows, the crowds are always really rowdy. And I expect they'll be really rowdy for Charlotte versus Sasha Banks next week as well.
I don't think they'll be that rowdy for that match, but, I expect
really? I feel like Sasha Banks has gotten over quite well.
I think Sasha's gotten over well. I just don't think they're going to be that rowdy unless, like, this. If this match goes, like, second, it'll be fine, but if it's like the semi-main, like, they won't care, I don't think.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think Charlotte's personality will drive this match, and Sasha's bling bling will make everybody want to see what she's going to do. And the two of them have a lot of wrestling ability, so put them in the ring together and let them go to town. It'll be like Charlotte and Natalya. It'll be a great match.
Well, sadly, I don't think the love of my life is going to win the belt. I think Bayley is going to cause her to lose, and then at the next TakeOver show, whenever that is, in February or March, they'll do a three-way with the three of them, and that's when Charlotte loses the belt to one of them.
You know what's more fun than anything else I see on Tumblr?
What?
Animated GIFs of Bayley's entrance.
With the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men?
Yes, every time I see that, I get a big smile on my face. It's Bayley!
It's hard to not love Bayley, or at least the entrance anyway.
I adore her. She is just the cutest thing on NXT. She's so much fun right now.
Like, you would go up and just hug her so tight, and just like everything's going to be okay.
I just want like a 5-minute segment, because I know she does it anyway, you know, when they do the little vignettes, but I want just like 5 straight minutes of her hugging everybody in the locker room.
There was, I don't know if you remember this was before the network, so it was like last year. AJ went down to NXT for a show, and they did a segment with her meeting Bayley, and Bayley, I don't know if they attacked her from behind, but attacked her from behind with a hug, and AJ just got this look on his face like, who the is this?
I need to find a video of that. I have to see it.
And it's exactly what you'd imagine a meeting between AJ and Bayley would be. And, yeah. And, by the way, and I think I already gave away my prediction, but Charlotte retains here at TakeOver, Our Evolution.
Well, that only leaves one match. We all have to do a prediction on this. Jordan, you too, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this last match, I can't imagine, there's going to be some major debate over who's going to win this main event.
I think it has to be Sami Zayn at this point. I said it to Mike at the gym tonight, too. If they don't pull the trigger on Sami Zayn winning the NXT title at this point, people are going to lose hope, and they're never, ever going to do it.
I mean, I pretty much assume it was a given, because Zayn's going to leave NXT if he loses, and, I can't imagine him leaving NXT.
Mm-hmm. I can't either.
Even if they take off the bunny mask, I think he'll still be down there once in a while.
Well, he's not the one that's playing the bunny every week anyway. They change it from one guy to the next.
He's not? I thought it was always him.
No, it's been different people at different times. I believe there's been a couple of times where it's been Tyson Kidd. I believe there's a couple of times where it's been Darren Young. It's been varied up. Really,
Darren Young? I guess it's been like he's not for like 9 months, so I guess it's possible he's back and healed. I don't even remember what he was out with.
Yeah, I've forgotten too at this point, but they've had different people under the bunny costume. It's not just been Zayn.
And by the way, I think it's safe to assume, unless barring some crazy wackiness, this is going to be by far the best match of the show.
It's almost guaranteed. They got to give these guys at least 20 to 25 minutes, and if they do, they'll tear the roof off.
Oh yeah, and they're always good with that, especially on the TakeOver shows, giving them plenty of time for the main event. Even when they did Bo Dallas and Adrian, even though the match was kind of disappointing, they still gave him close to 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. They did.
And Zayn, Zayn, I'm willing to bet that if I were to go back and go over every result he's had on TV, he cannot have a winning record. He always loses. But yet you never think of it. You don't think of him like Tommy Dreamer that never wins a match. You just but this is the time for him. Like, there's no chance that Neville walks out with a belt.
Well, see, the reason you don't think of Zayn that way, and then I want to go to Jordan on his prediction for the match, the reason you don't think of him that way is because it's not like he goes out there and gets blown out. What happens every time with Sami Zayn when he loses is that he's always that close to winning, but his opponent does something devious and gets one over on him. Like faking an injury and then rolling him up with a small package. It's not like Zayn gets blown out. It's Zayn gets screwed, which is why you don't think of him as a loser. You just think of him as a guy who keeps getting bad breaks.
And that was an awesome finish, because even though you saw it coming, it's just like, I don't know, it's just like, it was so awesome the way it played out. And Sami Zayn's been in a couple of those this year. like the other time when he was wrestling Tyler Breeze, and he went for the haluva kick, and Tyler Breeze sort of ducked in the corner and headbutted Zayn in the groin. It was a completely, quote-unquote, accidental groin hit, so it wasn't a DQ, but it was just an awesome way to beat Zayn but not beat him.
Exactly. They beat him, but they didn't make him look like a chump. They just made him look like a guy who got robbed.
Yes.
So, Jordan, what is your prediction? Is Sami Zayn winning the NXT title, or is he leaving?
I think I know by far that Sami Zayn is due to win the NXT title. My prediction by far, I can see Sami Zayn defeating Adrian Neville and winning the NXT championship. I can't see him leaving NXT, and if he was to, I would see him be like an extra, like the Bunny again, without showing up on NXT for a while. But I think I could see Sami Zayn winning this match. Neville had a good run as champion. I think it's Sami Zayn's turn.
I think it is, but I'm almost going to be disappointed if Kevin Owens doesn't end up challenging him for the title.
Oh my God. I was just about to say, I guarantee people on the internet will be complaining that after the match, Kevin Owens does not come out and challenge him for the belt.
Well, they can't do it the first week he debuts. They need to give it a month or two, but then they can do these subtle little reminders that these two know each other from somewhere else, and they can play into that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had there's one time, it was like a passing comment, that Zeb Coulter was, when Cesaro was feuding with Sami Zayn, Zeb Coulter was like, that he has proof that Sami Zayn used to hide behind the mask. And but nothing ever came of it ever again. So, yeah.
Damn shame, but it's nice that he at least got that reference in there. I actually got that in there too when I saw Kevin Steen at the PWG show. I couldn't resist ripping him a little bit because I was close enough for him to hear, and so I yelled out, El Generico's better! And he said, El Generico can suck my, and I won't repeat the rest. But then he gave his opponent a pile driver right after that.
Those poor children in the audience who had to listen to his foul mouth. And
I don't think there's any poor children in the audience at a PWG show.